1, everybody can do it, right? It just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equals back to 1, 11 equals 2, 12, 3, 13, 4, so on and so forth. As you go up, if you reduce the numbers to single digits, it will just repeat this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The good old linear number sequence that we all know. Which is, by the way, has nothing to do with time or space or how we're sequencing. It's not a linear process at all. And that's, what relativity was all about. So there we have the number 1. Well, let's go over here to number 8, which is across from it. And I'm going to say that these are producing mirror images. This symbol is a mirror image symbol, and it creates mirror symmetry, just like in your body. People say that we count with 10 numbers, or the base 10 system, because we have 10 fingers, and that it's arbitrary. But it's actually not true. In fact, we don't even have 10 fingers. Can you believe that? Actually, what we have is 0.5, which is half of 100%, and they're mirror images. If I had 10 fingers, my thumb would be over here. Okay? And because it's not a linear sequence, it's a mirror image, half of 100%, and that's why it exists like that. So, but over here I say they're mirror images, but it's an 8 here, and how is 8 and 1 mirror images? Well, you notice that horizontally, any of these numbers, if I add them up, they all equal 9. 8 and 1, 7 and 2, 4 and 5, or even if there was 3 and 6 here. The number 9 forms an axis right down the middle. We have it down our body. The Earth has one that it spins on. Everything is involving an axis of spin. Well, if you multiply 8, you go 8, 16, 6 and 1 is 7, 24, 2 and 4 is 6, 32, 3 and 2 is 5, 40, which is 4, 48, which reduces back to 3, 56, and so on. So 8 does the exact mirror image reverse of 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9. Okay? That's pretty good. But, maybe it's not convincing. Maybe you're not convinced that reality is perfect. I'll give it to you. Well, let's go down here. Let's look at 2. 2 goes 2, 4, 6, 8. 10 is 1, 12, 3. All right, I know this is fast for the calculations, but we're just reducing the numbers to single digit to get a pattern. So it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Well, how about 7? 7 times 2 is 14, which is 5. 21, which is 3. 28, which is 1. Okay? 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9. The exact same pattern backwards. It's a mirror image. What I mean by mirror image is if one is going one way, the other is going the other way. Just like particle, antiparticle. Okay? This is basic physics. 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9. That's the pattern. 4, 8, 12 is 3, 16 is 7, 20, 24, 28, 32. Right? 5, mirror image. 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. Alright? These are the multiplication tables, and they form mirror images. And notice there are 3 groups, 3 pairs. And we just so happen to live in a 3-dimensional world. Okay? And what this is a map. It's a coordinate system for 3D space. It shows you how you can know what's up, down, left, right, front, and back, which is the source of our physical reality. So this is why I say you could travel throughout the universe, because it's a navigational map. Anything that reaches its maximum acceleration will take this geometry, but not exactly this, because this is just a 2D cross-section of a circle. I wish I had better images, but let's just take, for example, imagine that this 9, 6, and 3 are here, and we've got that pyramid there. Let me go back to my previous image, that way you'll at least be able to see the pattern. There we go. Okay, this doesn't have the numbers, but you guys are following me very well. So we know we have the 9 up at the top. Well, why is 9 at the top? I mean, what's so special about the number 9? Well, the interesting thing is 9 multiplied by anything, when you reduce it back, equals the number 9. 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90, 99. Doesn't matter. You can go on forever. They will always reduce back to the number 9. So as a principle, is the never-changing number 9. It's a control. Okay? It doesn't change. Now these numbers all change. They change, and no matter what the multiplication series, if you cut across it at an angle, you've always got doubling. So these numbers have a function. What about 3 and 6? What happens if you double them? Well, 3 doubled is 6, right? 6 doubled is 12. 2 and 1 is 3. 12 doubled is 24, which equals 6. 24 doubled is 48, which equals 3. Okay? Everybody follow me there? Alright, so 3 and 6 are oscillating. They're going back and forth. Nothing here goes back and forth. They're all going around the circuit. What do we know of all things which oscillates? Anybody? Yeah, well, I could give that, but something that, even a wave, right? Because this is a waveform, right? That's exactly what this is. It's a waveform. How do you define a waveform? By nodal points. There has to be a point where it stops going one way and starts going another, right? And that point in the curvature, that's what a number is. It's defining the nodal point. So this is a wave, but what is making a wave oscillate? Maybe I could say that. Polarity. Magnetism, right? Which is a form, it's a form of polarity. It's magnetism. It's polar in it, as you said, and it oscillates back and forth, flip-flop. All right? And what's so amazing, and by the way, it has a geometry. Because conventionally it's said that arithmetic doesn't explain geometry. If anything, it's the other way around. But what we actually found is that numbers are geometric. Numbers are geometry. And so without being heavy, what it means is that numbers are reality. Numbers are space and time. Yes, sir?
Does this integrate with the Fibonacci, Steve?
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, the Fibonacci is a form of doubling. My buddy John here can tell you a lot about that. He's done a lot of research into that. He actually enlightened me a little bit more with some new information about how that's really working in nature. But we found long ago that the Fibonacci is a 24-digit repeating sequence. And some people are starting to get into that now and to find out what it means. There was a professor from the University of Hawaii who used this mathematics to be able to predict how all the petals would grow on a daisy. And he actually used the growth of daisies to predict all prime numbers too, which is a really fascinating study. But yes, this is how these sequences are created in nature.
You have to predict what the stock market's going to do.
You and about 90% of the people who call me on the phone.
I already used Fibonacci all the time. I just wondered.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I haven't put a lot of time into it, but certainly it's there. And there's a gentleman named Anthony Morris who worked with me a little bit with my work in prime numbers, and he's a stock market analyst in the UK, and he's had wild success using this for predicting the market. So it's not my area of expertise. I wish it was. But yeah, absolutely it can be applied because it's all fractal behavior. And that's what these numbers are. Numbers themselves are fractal, and they all exist together as one. You can't just have a 5 over here or a 3 over there. They always exist as a unified group. All right, and that's a very essential, important point. So, without going too much deeper, because I feel like I might lose some people here, all I want to explain to you is that this is essentially modeling what our reality is, and it's defined by this, okay? And what I found is that by studying any different endeavor, any different tract of knowledge, everything, you can throw it all right here, and it's all absorbed by this. It's all explainable in these very simple terms. So what you have here is just a dual system. You've got a circuit, and this is how anything that has mass, okay, any kind of particle, even a photon coming from a distant star, which is said to have no mass, probably has some very tiny, minute amount of mass that we can't measure, but it was said to have, Einstein predicted that even the light would bend around a star, showing that the gravity of the star was warping space. But there's no real explanation for what's warping things. What is it that warps it? They say it's mass, but they don't know where mass comes from. right? They're still looking for a fundamental particle that produces mass, and that's what this etheron, this number 9, is. So essentially, everything in the physical world is going to move along this doubling circuit. That's why you see it in plant growth, you see it in human cell growth, and you see it in, I mean, even technology, right? They say every year it doubles. The efficiency of the computers and everything, it's doubling every year. And it's working on a spiral, the stock markets. So you have physical matter, you have magnetism, which is represented by 3 and 6, very elementary, all right? They just represent male and female, and their geometry is a triangle and a hexagon. That's pretty simple, 3 and 6. And this has been confirmed in laboratories. I've had a quantum physicist from South America send me pictures. I wish I had them up here. You could see actually some that another scientist did on my TED Talk, showing that he took pictures of magnetic fields in a laboratory over and over again, and they conformed to these exact geometric arrays predicted by this math. So, and it's been shown in various scientific journals that magnetic fields triangulate, and they become hexagonally polarized as well. So the 3 and 6 represent the outermost extremes. They're what's spreading everything out. So you have energy, or etheron, spirit, if you want to call it that. You have magnetism, and you have matter in motion. And that's what electricity is. Electricity is just matter in motion, moving in 3D. And so ultimately this led to the conclusion that the geometry, like our bodies, everything physical is an antenna. It's transmitting and receiving. And we have different concepts. For instance, this is like quantum mechanics, which is based on discrete phenomena, they call, or pulsing things that you can measure and quantize or give a certain discrete value to. And then you have relativity, which is a continuum. And that's what this is. All right, so you've got the quantum and the relativistic side unified in one, which is what the unified field theory is really all about. So what it showed us is that, and how this led to producing energy, how this led to working on modeling DNA and all that, is that it showed us that everything physical, our bodies included, our bodies being the ultimate example, is a coil. It's a coil. It's a geometric shape that's designed to conduct electricity, for one, which is how we're moving around. That's how I'm doing all of this. It's an electrical activity going on in my body, the source of which is unknown, right? I mean, if you ask a scientist, I tell people who don't believe in miracles, I'm like, this is a miracle. I mean, how do you explain it? You can't even explain how I'm holding this microphone. I mean, anybody can go, well, your brain sends a series of electrical pulses through your body, and that allows you to contract your muscles, and et cetera, but where that electricity is coming from, where the impetus, where the original drive is, no one knows. It remains a mystery in both science and psychology as well. So everything physical is a coil, and it's designed in its most proper state to conduct this field, and that's what this is. It's a field. So in science, you have two different types of things. You've got localized things, you've got particles, right, or waves, and then you have fields, what's called fields. And I don't even know if anyone really knows exactly what a field is, but it's somehow spread out over space. Just like you can jiggle an electron over here and, so many miles away, or however far it could be, they say, on the other side of the universe, and it will move. It's called non-locality. But a good example is a magnetic field, an electrical field. We're all pretty familiar with that. It's spread out over space. My contention is that consciousness is the same way. It's a field. And this is designed, the geometric shape of things, designed to conduct that energy. And so, let me show you how that looks in the real world a little bit.